Hi guys. You know what? I decided to make a really short video to kind of address some things that a lot of you have been reaching out to me and talking about recently. Also some things that have been coming up in my own life while talking with some buddies of mine. So first of all, let me remind you guys that we are literally in Cancer season. So for those of you who may not know what that means that you have quite a few friends, maybe even yourself, who have a birthday because their zodiac sign is Cancer. But what does that mean for us? Generally speaking, that means that the planets are aligned in such a way, the stars are aligned in such a way that the energies are coming onto the earth and really helping us to move through whatever these emotions are that are existing beneath us. When we think about Cancer as the zodiac sign, we think about emotions, we think about water, we think about home, we think about family, we think about pain. And wherever there is pain, there is an opportunity for personal growth. So, some of the things that I've been getting in my DMs recently have been, just questions from some of you who watch me and, from friends and whatnot, pretty much saying, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm crying. I don't have the will in me to keep at this thing we call life. And these are really, 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 really important because, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're here on Earth, and many of you may not know this, but Earth is a school. That's what it is. Earth is a school, and it's one of the tough ones. It's the school of hard knocks, and the simple reason is because we have this concept of duality running amok down here. This idea that we are more than one. The truth is we are all just one, but our ideas about ourselves, our ideas about what we think we're seeing are all just out there like this huge banquet. And it's our job to, without our memory, right? It's our job to navigate this landscape. It's very foreign, but also very familiar. And we all come in with our own disadvantages in the form of past lives, in the form of inner child wounding, masculine, feminine wounding, living in conditions that are not conducive to knowing who we are, to understanding who we are, to accepting who we are. There are all sorts of reasons why we would feel upside down. And here we come in Cancer season, being forced basically to delve deeply on the inside, right? So let's take a look at what I really want to address today. I want you to think about yourself as being literally in the flow of water. And water refers to emotions. So if you are feeling discombobulated, if you are feeling very, very up one minute and down the other, if you're finding yourself in arguments, if you're finding yourself just sheerly in a state of confusion, that's because you have energies that have been inside for quite some time coming up to the surface, right? When we think about Cancer, we think about the moon. Just as the moon pulls upon the oceans and creates the flow and the ebbs, right, of the tides, it also manages our emotions. And so that's why when we're around full moon time, we go crazy. Check the statistics, they're there. And the question that I'd like to ask you is, how crazy are you feeling? How sad are you? How angry are you? How alone are you? What are the memories and the thoughts that are coming up? Because remember that our emotions are tied to our thoughts. And truly, in life, what happens is you have an ouchie, something happens, we register pain. And because of whatever it is that we have in our mental body, our thoughts or ideas collected from past lifetimes, from this lifetime, our distortions, all sorts of things, we attach associations to that pain. You have a breakup and suddenly you attach this idea that it means you're not good enough, right? And there we go. And that all of a sudden gives rise to just a whole different ball game in your life, right? And by the other token, sometimes we attach feelings of grandeur and self-importance, and that in and of itself is just another another pathway altogether. But the long story here is that you need to be understanding a few things, and the first thing that you need to understand is, hey, psh, we in Cancer season, all right? Straighten up. What does that mean, soldier? That means that you are going to be bombarded with your inner emotions. Your inner emotions are going to come up, and they are nothing more than an invitation to inquiry. Ouch, what am I feeling? Let me take a moment, step back before I lash out. We just came hot off Gemini season, and I know some of your mouths were running like water. All right, don't get it twisted. Do not go running your mouth right now and lashing out at people and being all, in that space, because I will tell you, you're just going to have to pull it back, right? So what are your emotions? Where in your body do you feel those emotions? Even as I'm talking about it, you could hear my throat chakra like, because we're so much in the heart space as well. So what are your emotions? Where in your body do you feel it? What are the thoughts that are coming up around these emotions? Are they telling you, bottom line, that you're no good? Are they telling you, bottom line, that other people aren't good? Watch those spectrum areas. You do not want to be on either side of those spectrum at any given time. And if you find yourself there, bring it in. Bring it into the middle, okay? Because you're not just, and pardon my French, you're not just shit, okay? And by the same token, you ain't the shit, okay? So if you find yourself on either place at any given time in your life, you needs to bring it back. I'm telling you, all right? You are in the middle, my dear. You are cloaked with Cancer energy right now, and you need to see where you are, gauge where you are, understand that emotion is going to be flowing. Take the time out, give yourself that time, and bring yourself back to the middle. And how do you do that? Well, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to sit, put your hand on your heart, register that you're in pain. Ouch, I'm in pain. And that can sound like I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm feeling alone, I feel rejected, I feel stupid, I feel unheard. Whatever your feeling is, put word to that. And put your hand on your heart and you localize that. Where in my body am I feeling this? Oh my gosh, I'm feeling it behind my ear. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling it behind my heart. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling it in my knee. Wherever you feel it, that's where those energies are heavily concentrated. You can go ahead and put your hand over, your dominant hand over that area, or whichever hand you feel guided to use, actually. Put that hand over that area, and if you can't reach that area with your physical hand, go ahead and take your etheric hand and put your hand in that area and say, tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what's in your heart, and just listen. Stop talking and listen. Now, the information that comes to you, don't judge it. It's going to come to you either in tears or laughter. It can come to you on the side of a bus driving by. It can come to you audibly by, catching a snippet of a song that you hear in the environment, or somebody walking by and being on the phone or having a conversation. You hear something. It can come audibly in your mind if it's if it's being telepathically given to you. If you are if you're clairaudient and you hear those things, it can come with a knowing. However it comes, you can look at the floor and all of a sudden you see something written on a piece of paper that you meant to throw out, and it means something to you. So when you're receiving information from your inner self, please try not to dictate how that information is to come. If you're not able to get something at the moment, it's okay. It will come to you because you willed it to. And so for some of you, you may need to receive it in your rest time. For some of you, you may need to receive it through somebody else who may not be surrounded by as much as you are at the moment. So just know that you put it out there. Sit in their stillness, feel the emotions, journal it out if you need to do, work out, write, paint, whatever it is that you need to do, move that energy. Another thing I'd like to talk about when we are dealing with these energies and these emotions is to consider what is coming up. You have to let go of the ego because Cancer season is coming for that ego, okay? Some of you already feel it. Some of you already feel it. Oh, and some of you already feel it. Where in your life are you feeling this tension? Always bring it back to self. Where is my ego engaged? Yes, the other person could be wrong. Yes, the other person could be partially wrong. Yes, the other person could be right, whatever. But you own something in this. And that's the only thing that you should be delving into. If there were nothing for you in this situation, you wouldn't have this experience. And your role in this situation is never going to be just to teach. It never is just to teach. We always are engaged in teaching and learning. All right? So you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do? Where do I need to be? What do I need to experience to bring myself back to the center? I think I might have lost you guys for a quick second there. Hold on. Okay. And once you can get to this place where you can abandon your connection to your ego and allow for that death to happen, you are in a much better place. So just to summarize so far, first of all, remember that you're in a season where emotions are naturally going to come up, regardless of what those emotions are. Number two, it is your job to do something with those emotions, and you're always going to have to get silent, go inward, and start to think what your emotions are, where it is in your body, what the thoughts are that are coming up, and what you've made it mean, right? And if you'd like, you can take an extra step and think about what other people have made it mean, but that's not necessary. More so, the only reason that would be necessary is just so you can reflect on how you feel about that, which brings us to what I was just talking about. How is your ego triggered? How is it engaged? And do your due diligence to bring that back in place. Now, that might be the hard part for a lot of us because wow, you see that? The ego reminds us. I have to tell you something. The reason why this video got interrupted 2 times is because the battery kept running out. So I got up the first time to plug it in, and I got back and I resumed, hoping that I didn't miss anything, but I'm sure I cut something out there. But and I had the thought, I know this is supposed to mean something, but I just kept going. And so it just went out again. And so I thought, okay, I get it, Spirit. I get what you're trying to say. So I took the whole cord from across the room. I have a 10-foot cable here. And I plugged it in right here. Spirit is saying with that, because notice it keeps interrupting when I'm talking about this ego. All right. So if some of you are feeling, I need to get up and go do something while I'm listening to this, we gotcha. Okay. Stay put and listen to this part. It's important. You have to look at the ego. You may not like what it tells you, but you have to look at it. And Spirit is saying, listen, call in the big guns. Call in the big guns. Call in your higher self. I just had to go take this plug and put it somewhere else because it wasn't working where it was. So when you call in the big guns, that means you take a seat, you ask for your higher self to come in and to help you. You can ask Holy Spirit if that's what you like. Remember, that is a non-religious energy that's here for all of us. Call it in, and then sit back and listen. And so you gotta also ask, how is my ego with this? Am I okay with the messenger that is being sent to me? Am I making it about my ego and not listening to the message? Am I choosing to turn a blind eye, choosing to close my ears? Also look for your physical symptoms. If you start noticing a lot of muted energy in your ears, like maybe, oh my gosh, I have a lot of wax buildup. Ooh. Or, oh my gosh, I got an ear injury. Or, oh my gosh, I can't, my eyes are so dimmed. Oh my gosh, where's the lighting in this place? Those kinds of things around the eyes and the ears, especially when you're trying to connect to Spirit, physiologically, you got to look at that because that is insight into how receptive you are to what is being given unto you. And you notice it becomes more conscious for you when you realize that if the information coming in is happy news for you, you're all about it. You hear well, you see well. But if it's something that you know on some level you don't want to hear, then you start having these little symptoms, and you're listening to the video, and all of a sudden you remember you have to go into the next room to do something, or you decide you have to call somebody. That's an interruption of energy. Okay, so watch yourself, watch how you react when topics that are not what we want to hear come up. Spirit is asking you during this Cancer season to assume nothing. Speak about nothing until you've thought about it first. Bring in your information, chat with some close friends so you can hash it out, think about it, right? But especially to those people who are teachers, be very mindful about, or who identify themselves as teachers, be very mindful about what it is that you're putting out and when. Make sure that you go through your heart space, you go through your energies, and be mindful about that, because there's just work to be done for everybody. I also want to let you know that as we are in this Cancer season, think about it as just full-on water. And so for some of you, you may find yourself caught in a deluge. You may see yourself as being in a full ocean, being thrown from here to here, here to there to there. But remember, what you need to actually do is get still so that the water around you becomes a mirror, right? When it becomes a mirror, you can actually look inside of it and you can see yourself. So the last thing I'm going to cover, because I can talk about this forever, is the gift that Cancer season brings for us. The gift that Cancer season brings for us is the ability to look at, I almost said attack, to look at / attack, depending on how you are, to look at what it is that you have inside of you. What is it that is running in the background that you may or may not want to see or feel or hear? And understand that it's very natural to have these feelings and just move through them. So it's interesting because I was chatting with somebody via DM, you know who you are, God bless, and the channeled information that came through for her is something that could come through for people in general. So I'm just going to read it really quickly. No names. So let me see. Yeah, so what Spirit was saying is this. The lesson here during Cancer season is to see that you're in the middle of a cycle, immersed, really. And the journey is one of self-discovery, which means, number one, you're having experiences. Number two, you're allowing them to make you feel at odds. That's what you should be doing, right? It's what the Spirit is doing. It's allowing you to feel interrupted, disrupted, in a place of dis-ease, right? And number three, you're questioning those feelings and experiences and their place in your life. I do want to add that a lot of these experiences and these memories and whatnot are coming from a past that is unresolved. And of course, for some of you, they're coming from very current triggers, right? Number four, you're feeling lost as a result of managing all of those emotions. Makes sense. We're lost. What's going on? Who am I? What does this person say? Why am I so angry? Why am I so sad? Why am I so happy, right? Number five, you're allowing yourself to reach out and receive different and ultimately mind-altering and expanding ideas. So that's very important. That's the step where you reach up to something higher. Dear God, please come in. Higher self, please come in. Nature, please allow me to understand. You can turn to a friend or a colleague or somebody who can speak to what you're going through. Please do not speak to people who don't hold space for you and who don't allow you to have your expression, right? And remember, we're all going through this right now. So sometimes the person that you normally would feel safe with does not feel safe at this time. And that's something that you have to consider. And vice versa. They could feel the same way about you. Anytime you're looking outward, you always have to remember to look inward. If you say one thing about somebody else, immediately look inward. And that simple exercise will help you to stay away from both sides of the spectrum, where you think you're nothing but shit, or where you think you are the shit. And I'll tell you, you're neither of those. Okay? A Course in Miracles teaches us there is no special relationship. And that means there's no one who's better or worse than you. You are teacher and student at the same time. You're good and bad, quote unquote, at the same time. You're up and down at the same time. We're all one, right? And so it's important to remember that. What else did they want to say? Excuse me. So what they're saying is following that number 5, allowing yourself to reach out and to receive different and ultimately mind-altering and expanding ideas. Your ideas are going to change because your ego is being adjusted. This will all lead you to owning your projections and getting to the bottom of what led you from your inside, what led you to have those thoughts and to cast them out to the world. Because when we project, we're merely putting onto other people that which we have from within. And we disown what we have from within, especially if there's shadows, because it brings us shame, understandably, right? So the last thing I'm going to leave you with for real is that I want you to notice when you're clear about something, whether you're right or wrong about what you think you're clear about, right? Everything falls into place. Why? Because the energy is clear. This is what I believe. This is what I feel. Boom. And things fall into place. You're not conflicted. But when you are coming from a place where you're still unsettled, and you're trying to right yourself and to find an orientation that fits for where you are now in your time-space continuum, your time-space continuum, right? Which is different from others, right? It takes time. So you really have to understand that basically if this video falls into your hands and it makes sense to you and it reflects what it is that you're going through, regardless of whether it's in Cancer season or not, please remember that you're just going through a process. Things are coming up. Deal with it properly and then let it go. But as you're doing so, remember to surrender your ego. Remember to reach for something higher that's out there. And remember to pay it forward. And when we pay it forward, it means holding space for other people to be up and down as they need, knowing when to step back, knowing when to come closer, and just do your best and do your best and try to keep yourself in a place of levity as much as possible. Watch a lot of crazy, stupid, funny things on TV throughout the day just to bring that levity up. Laugh, find a way to break it up. Otherwise, you're going to drown. And if you're already having these feelings and you're in Cancer season, listen, we need you back at the surface, okay? Dip in, but come back to the surface. Dip in, come back to the surface. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with that thought here. And yeah, God bless. All right, bye. Happy Cancer season.